Okay, this is the week 3? Yeah, week 3. Week 3 recap for these Bretonians of my Mentee, taking on some Dorfs. Just go back quickly and look at your team. So you had no levels going into this game, which is not really a huge deal. Looks like we get at least one level coming out of it. You outblocked him, which is pretty odd considering he was Dwarves. Dwarves with 67% armor. Okay, well, I guess we're going to see what happens. I was hoping that I would have my Dwarf game versus Bretonians this week to show you, but unfortunately my opponent conceded the game without showing up, so I don't really have anything to watch or show. Alright, we are in the Dwarf Stadium, which is functionally meaningless. We get that coin flip, the Dwarfs win it, and they probably go on attack. Yep, which I would never do as the Dwarfs, just to put that in perspective. Alright, turn some skills on. We're going to pause here for 1 second. So the Dwarves also have 0 levels, and they have a loner already. Oh, and you killed one this game, so that's unfortunate for him. You on the fan factor, pretty good. Going for the standard defense setup, I like it. I don't understand why this guy's 1 square back, but okay. I mean, I get it that if he blitzes this way, he can push one of these guys back, but that's relatively meaningless. Okay, so yeah, he did the build I don't actually like, because he has 4 AV8 players on the pitch, and 0 skills. So with my Dwarves, I started with 1 Slayer, 1 Runner, and while it's kind of a pain in the ass only having a single Runner, the lack of having the less AV players, or sorry, more AV on the pitch, I found was really helpful for not getting damaged. Okay, here comes the kick. Not a terrible one. Not really going to help him that much, though, although it does put this guy under the ball. And he does catch it. Fen doing a thing. Okay, he's doing his blocks in the proper order to maximize his blocks, so that's good. I mean, for him, not good for you. But he's getting a lot of fails here. Oh, there we go. I mean, it's AV7, so he shouldn't statistically get a lot of removals, but he probably should have gotten a break here. Just a push. His block dice have been pretty awful so far, but I mean, it's turn 1, so we got lots of time. But the ball is in his hands, which is a pretty big deal in all honesty with Dwarves. Okay, so he literally just left the Slayer out with his ass in the breeze, which was not a good idea. Because, yeah, even if you didn't knock this guy down, you get the follow-up hit. Okay, so I'm slightly curious about this direction. If you put him here... Okay, I need to take that damn box off my screen. Maybe? There we go, okay. So if you pushed him here, like win or lose, he's stuck down here between these players, and he's Agi 2, like he's not going to be able to dodge free. Pushing him back towards his own lines is not something I would hugely do. Plus, if you really wanted to, you could put a really big fat foul on him if you hadn't already broken his armor. I wouldn't advise fouling him just because he's on the ground already, and and he's stunned, and I don't really like fouling stunned people. I'm not hugely against it, but I'm not a huge fan of it. Also, I will note that the first armor break in this match so far was on the Dwarves side. Okay. So I'm not a huge fan of dodging these players free if you're going to dodge both, because them standing there isn't necessarily a bad thing, and you do run the risk of removing your own guys with that G2. 4+ dodges aren't super useful, and he's not pushing through this turn, so... Not really sure what he's doing aside from all basing, which I never suggest. Is he switching sides? He is switching sides. Interesting. See, now I don't like this because one thing he's done several turns in a row here. Like, I don't know why he didn't use the Slayer here. Because that would have been the perfect hit there. Okay. But one thing to note right here, I'm not actually sure what you're going to do yet, but he gave you a free 2 dice on this guy, plus you can mark the ball. And let's see. You can even do a 2 dice on one of these guys or one of these guys. Like, this is not... He has no guard, so I'm not really sure why he's trying to all base you here. Okay, setting up for a foul is okay, but we should be taking the hit on that runner. That runner needs to be punched. But we are clearly not going to hit the runner, and that makes me sad. You do get a 1 dice hit on the ball, but this was a lot riskier. I mean, it paid off, but it's not something I would have gone for. I do like this foul, though, although it fails. I would have liked having probably this wrestle guy basing the other runner, just to stop him from being able to move around. Because he's probably going to be able to pick up the ball with this guy this turn now, which I don't like the fact he's able to do that. Putting a wrestle guy on him means you're pretty relatively likely to be able to hold him out, so... Okay, the Slayer finally gets put into place, and nothing. And yep, see, if we had based this guy up, well, I guess we probably couldn't have put the other guy on. Well, okay, just before we go any further, probably what I would have done, in all honesty, is one of these 2 linemen I would have moved up to base the guy that's currently holding the ball. I would have blitzed him down and then followed up to base the ball, and then probably would retreat this guy back onto the ball, so that way he had to blitz 2 guys off of the ball carrier. Granted, the ball carrier only needs to do a 3+ dodge to get free, but he doesn't have dodge anywhere on his team. So that's what I would have done personally, but your play worked too. It's just it was relatively dangerous. I mean, not hugely unlikely, though. It was a 3+ into a 3+, so still a good play. I do not like, for his sake, that he's just repeatedly giving you hits on this Slayer. And, like, you're going to be able to control the tone of the pitch here because he's completely given it to you. He's going to take removals for this sooner or later. Like, it's only AV8. And speaking of AV8, hit his runners. Or Troll Slayers, if you can get shots on them. And, like, this guy's just standing there in the open. Plus, if you moved a player like one of these linemen to him to blitz him off, then this guy doesn't have to make a dodge to get free, and plus he's 2 SPP from getting levels, so he could potentially level there. Do not foul before standing your players up, though. or doing blocks, whatever it is that you're planning on doing. Okay, one thing, be careful about the sidelines here. I mean, luckily you're enough spaces away that he can't surf you, but this Slayer could easily blitz you down into here. And luckily enough for you, because of your positioning and where this guy is, he can't surf you, but I would just be mindful of like where the Slayers are, because if like a Slayer was here, for example's sake, he could easily push you into the surf. Again, he's not there, but it is something to keep an eye on. And for love of God, hit his runners. He's giving you 4 AV8, hit the AV8. Okay, so he's just going to base you with a runner for no reason. Loner. Okay. So what do we have here? So, let's see. We have the hit on this guy. It's a 1 dice. You can push him here. This is an easy 2 dice. Is this guy on the ground? No, he's standing. I think. It's hard to tell. No, he's on the ground. Okay. Alright, so I think for me, my play here would be... I'd probably hit with one of these two, this guy, just push him down this way. You get several follow-up hits if you do that way. But I mean, he's already given you a straight-up 1 dice on the ball, but if you can knock this guy down and this guy down, pretty easy to get a 2 dice on the ball here. I mean, even easier if you want to do the 3+ dodge, but I'm talking without dodges. There we go, he goes down. Okay, I would 100% do this 1 dice. Just because the actual success rate of it just makes this play so much easier. Okay. I mean, this works too, but I'm just saying. This would have been safer. Both are 3+, but... actually, no, this is technically a 2+, because your only failure rate is a skull. I mean, now it's a 2 dice, which is great, but... it would have freed up this guy to potentially pick up the ball. And that's something I would definitely consider more important than that. Because now, just because of where these guys are placed, you have no real shot at picking up this ball. That being said, these dwarves have let themselves get pulled into a total scrum, which is something they're not great at. But he still has 2 sure hands sticking around, so I think. Yeah, but 1 stunned. Ooh, never mind. 1 and 9 it is. Okay, so there's 4 turns left. Let's just switch this back. So there's a couple things here. You have a pretty easy... Let's see. You got a lot of 1 dice, for sure. This guy's in a pretty unfortunate position. You can easily turn and negate some of these assists. Do you have the player advantage? No, you're down 1, I think. No, it's literally 11 on 11 still. Okay, well. There's a lot of stuff you can do here. I would probably prioritize scattering the ball, which this would be the most efficient hit to do. That being said, without guard, it's going to be pretty difficult to leverage that. So you basically just go with the hits you get. Okay, now we do this hit. Now that I'm looking about this, we could have put a player here beforehand, based on where this guy was standing, but no, I don't like that. No. Okay. So let's just look at this. I want to go back a little bit to the beginning of this turn. Okay, so we've done this hit, which I'm totally a fan of. Why is this guy here? Was he there earlier? Okay, I want to see the end of the... I'm just going to pass from the dwarf turn. Okay, so this is the start of this turn. We've already activated this guy. We do this hit. That's fine. He gets pushed to here. We don't really have a way to clear him off, though. And I don't think we follow up, so it makes it much more difficult for you to do a follow-up hit. So we do the push. I would 100% follow up here. I mean, granted, we get the 1 and 9 anyway, but... And then the skull into a skull. But, I mean, that's going to happen. Of course, it does end up as a break. Now, the one unfortunate thing is that we're pretty out of position. Like, these two guys do not need to be on this Troll Slayer. And this guy's just kind of standing around. You just got to be mindful of where you're putting these dudes, because they're really fast. Like, their movement's 6. And you do need to leverage your speed against a team like this. If even one of these guys was down here, it would help you a lot with your next plays, most likely. That being said, he's not leveraging his strength at all. So, there is that. Well, not strength, but, like, block power. Alright, he's got another 2 dice with Loner. He's not gun shy, which is surprising, so he throws a block. Down you go. This is just all base hell. Alright, one thing to note is... Yeah, so, again, earlier, like what I was saying, like I noticed that you're very cautious at the sideline, which is understandable. But one of the best things you can do on the sideline is, like, you have guys with Fend. Just put a guy with Fend in either here or here. That way, if the Slayer does hit them, he can't surf them. He can't follow up. So, like I was saying earlier, like, if one of these guys had moved down here somewhere, you could use him to here to actually fill up your screen here to stop him from pushing down any further. Which is just something you just need to think about, like, just a couple turns in advance, generally with movement, especially with your Agility 2 players, because these guys are stuck here now. Like, you do not want to be making dodges with them, and we don't really want to be throwing blocks against the guy with block if we don't have block. Especially with only 1 reroll left. Did we have a shot at the ball there? I need to see that again. No, we needed a guy right here. Okay, so you're hitting in... Okay, so we're knocking down this guy. Okay, so we get the follow-up hit. Yeah, I guess there's not really any good person to push here, because it's not really helpful to you in any way. If we had players here and here, though, you'd be able to push this guy into here, which, again, wouldn't really help you, so never mind. I just like looking at chain pushes to see what we could have done here. Then we get more chain pushes. And, oh, another dub skull. I'm going to be honest, I probably wouldn't have rerolled that. Now we have no rerolls. Alright, so now we're moving this player down, which I totally agree with, but he should have been down here a turn ago, and shouldn't be giving assists. He should be down here with these two. Ooh! So, Apo is going to get deployed here, and the Apo also kills him. Brutal. I feel sympathy for that. Okay, so one thing to note here, this was a very dangerous place to be. If he decided he wanted to surf this guy, he can hit you to, if he hits you, he can push you to here, and then one of the Troll Slayers, I guess this one, can actually blitz you off the pitch, so just be careful with that. Also, because we're basically in a corner over here, it's not going to be all that difficult for him to push his dudes down and stop you from getting any more momentum. which is what he's going to do here, I assume. Interesting. A lot of skulls into skulls in this game. Alright, so that'll free up a peasant. I'm not sure that's particularly useful. But okay, so... Honestly... let's see. So we no longer have the reroll. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... No. We don't want to do GFIs on anybody. So this guy can hit this guy to push him down, and then that frees up... No, it wouldn't free up this piece because he's stuck on this guy. Probably the best thing you could do is honestly knock this blocker free to free up this guy, and you could actually just one dice blitz his ball. Or this guy does a 3+ once you base this guy up and then you hit the ball. I would definitely be trying to hit the ball though, because it's turn 8 for him. Okay, I would have preferred him to be basing, because it would make it easier if we're going to do a hit. Oops, let my thing scroll everywhere. Okay, who are we doing a hit on here? I mean, I don't hate that. We have based the ball. He's getting terribly outpositioned, but he still has a relatively easy path out. Oh, you still had a hit. Never mind. Okay, so there's not a lot of dwarves here, but he has enough to be able to base you up, and like he has to do this blitz for sure. I mean, no matter what he does, it's going to be like he clearly had to throw some dice here. There was no easy way out. He's doing extra hits though, which I'm not a fan of. Gets skull. Into the push. And then a casual 5+ dodge into a... Okay. So, I think you were saying that like you weren't sure how you could have stopped the defensive score. If your opponent just casually rolls 6s, you're not stopping his score. And if we look at that, he made a 5+ dodge into a 4+ dodge into a 3+ dodge, but it was 6, 5, 4, and like, so every single one of those passed. And like when he's rolling that high, like even dwarves are gonna pass, you know, dodges on 6s. So not a whole lot you can do about that. Oh, he's going to a defend 6 or defend 5, which is odd considering the fact that it's turn 8, but whatever. I would usually hide my players in the back line so you can't hit them. But he appears to be letting you full well hit whoever you want. Nice, so you have no removals, he has 1 dead player, so you have the player advantage still, which is pretty incredible in all honesty. I mean, if you had more skills, I would maybe say consider 1-turning here, but obviously you don't have skills, so I wouldn't care about 1-turning. That being said, there's going to be a ball. At least put a player back. Did you forget about the ball? So you get the free reroll, which is great, just in case you roll a dub skull. We are doing the successful ordering because you could have pushed him over, so I like it. And then this guy can push him over into this follow-up hit if it doesn't work. Wrestle, though. And yeah, he's just giving you a 2 dice on a Troll Slayer. You hit the Troll Slayer. You don't hurt him, but that's fine. Did we have any guys at 5 of 6? We did not. We did have a guy at 4 of 6, though. This guy should be making vanity throws. Okay, and then we have that built-in catch. Fail to pass. Fail to pass. He makes the catch, but it was inaccurate, so it doesn't count. And failed foul. Still have the 1-player advantage, though, going into the half, so that's pretty good. Okay, so he spread his dudes out, which I'm not a huge fan of because it makes it super easy to do follow-up blocks. Alright, so this guy here, Michael, and Marcia should be the two that you're trying to pick up the ball up with here, just because of the fact that one's at 3 and one's at 4. And we want that sweet, sweet SPP. And you're much more likely to get a touchdown than you are to get casualties out of AV9. I will point out that this defense that he has done is terrible. Because any one of these players, if knocked down or pushed to the side, opens a gap if you knock these 3 down. One thing I would do, though, is I would space these guys out. And honestly, like, because you don't want to commit a super huge amount of dudes to the LOS here, because you do probably want to burst through. Yeah, I would be careful just how we're setting up here. I don't like putting 2 guys together if I can space them out. Oh, you get the same event he does. 100% push this dude up into the gap. Alright. So one thing to note, just because I was saying it, I just want to point out why. If we had moved this guy here, you still do your 2 dice hit, but assuming it's like just pushes, you can push him down to this guy. Nothing you could do here, just because of how these guys were placed, but yeah. Doesn't matter, we get the POW, but still. Also, I would 100% follow that hit up. You want to base that guy on the ground. Do not let him reposition. Again, follow up, don't let him reposition. He's almost always conceded the initiative to you, so there's no reason not to follow up and base him. Especially since you have a 2-player advantage now. So, I would be using your bodies. And yeah, we definitely do this blitz. He's conceded this hole to you, so you go through it. With someone. You don't need to put like your whole team through, but I would definitely throw someone through the hole. Just have a viable scoring threat. I don't like that. There's a Slayer right there. You give me a Surf, I'm often going to go for it, especially now. So if I was him, I would move this guy down the 2 squares, and I would Surf you off the pitch. Alternatively, move this guy to 1 square, but I would use the runner. Because you gave him an easy Surf. I don't think he's going to use it, but you did. Yeah, he's just backing up. I'm not really sure what's going on here. I think he might be gun shy because you've been out bashing him. But yeah, you gave him like the easiest surf in the world. You're just lucky he didn't take it. And again, he gave you an easy hole to run through if you knock this guy down, which you don't. Well, we're kind of stuck, but you can bring this guy around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's not super safe, but it's safe enough. Yeah, there you go. No danger getting surfed. Again, stop putting your dudes within 2 squares of the sideline. Don't reroll that. You let that ball stay on the ground. That's your last reroll. It's turn 10. Don't waste a reroll on something like that. Just do all your movement first, then pick up the ball. And yeah, again, like if this guy, if he doesn't surf you here, I don't understand what he's doing. Because this is the second time you've given him a free surf. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a GF5 for him, but I mean, he has 3 rerolls. And he should be surfing you there. Surf. He's not going to surf. Oh, is he going to surf? Please surf. Oh, I guess he won't be surfing. Sad days. That did leave him wildly out of position, but I mean, that's what happens when you're dwarves and you're fighting a team like Bretonnians and they have a 2-player advantage. Yeah, you've just completely outpositioned him at this point. You definitely follow up here. MNG. I mean, that's whatever. You didn't really need 2 Slayers in this match anyway, so... That is real ballsy. Since you have 0 rerolls and you haven't actually knocked the guy down yet. Alright, so you have a 3-player advantage. At this point, you should be using your blockers just to base up some of these guys, stop him from moving around. Because if you tie up 1 or 2 of these blockers, he's effectively out of the game. Oh, you can also foul. I'm never against fouling. But I would totally have based up these 2. Because, I mean, your AV8, your wrestle, he's not super likely to hurt you, and he has to commit if he wants to do a 2-dice. And if he does a 2-dice, that's it. Then you just... He's committed too many players to this side, and then you just walk up here and continue caging. Who's the blitz? I'm guessing it must be this guy. He's going to blitz in, which is fine. Except he doesn't get a knockdown. I think at this point, if I was him, I probably would have re-rolled that blitz, just because if he got you on the ground and then followed up, he would have tied you up really badly. But yeah, you've completely outflanked him on this one side, and he's basically just given you this touchdown. There's not a lot of chances of him actually being able to stop you. I don't like that GF5 before moving the ball, since you have 0 rerolls, remember? Oh my god, all the GF5s. Even more GF5s. I just want you to remember that you rolled a lot of dice this turn, and statistically, you should have failed 1 of them. So be careful with that stuff. Honestly, if I was him, I don't think I would probably engage your block here at this point, I would probably take a hit on this guy. I certainly wouldn't have done this 1 dice first, but he can easily do the 2 dice blitz on this guy. There's no reason to keep this guy. There's no reason for him to keep that guy sitting on your wrestler. He follows up, which is not a great idea because you can easily do a 2 dice block. You don't hate that much about that. Okay, we run it in. You probably could have continued stalling there. He wasn't really in any position to threaten you. All of his pieces were out of place. He could have maybe gotten someone onto your ball, but it's pretty unlikely. But that being said, you've given him 4 turns to score, which, given the fact that you have a 3-man advantage because his KO stayed out, or sorry, 2-man advantage, I'd say odds are pretty decent that, given how he's played so far, there's no way he's going to be able to get the ball down the field. I hate symmetrical offense setups. Also, this kickoff event's happened 3 times so far this game. I can definitely see why he would probably be getting a bit salty by this point, because he's just not hurting you at all. This is his first removal on turn 13, so yeah. I don't know why he did that blitz, but okay. So he hasn't moved any players down to be viable scoring threats. This could have been just a hit. He didn't need it to be a blitz. He doesn't have Juggernaut. So, yeah, I'm not really sure what the point of that was. And he's just in a nice little dwarf cube here. He's not actually threatening the ball. Yeah, you just take your blitzer hit and you just stand back, and I wouldn't have even stood that guy up. You don't need to. He's not threatening any of your guys, so this is just giving him a free hit, which I don't like. Yeah, just keep your players back here, spread out nicely. Yeah, he gets a POW on the free hit. Nice. So this was a hit that didn't need to happen, so just, you know, be careful of that in the future. There was no tactical benefit to standing that guy up. I'm deeply curious how he doesn't have anyone in the area to score at this point. Unless he's going to cage with your dude on the end, which I think is what he's going to do. So never do this. Especially against a team that has a numbers advantage. Just giving you a casual 1 dice in the ball. Yeah, here we go. Now you base up the Slayer. And 1 dice to the ball. I mean, you can even do the 2 dice hit on this guy here, the runner. I mean, I wouldn't turn down a 2 dice hit on a runner. And this is his own fault. He should not have based around your guy. You get the stun, and fancy fingers. Okay, so I don't think he has a 2 dice at all because every single one of his players is based, but he has 3 rerolls, so. Starts with the loner, which is terrifying. He should be following up more, and he isn't. Alright, so he still didn't use his blitz. Yeah, I don't hate this. Tie you up, but this is a potato. You have two guys right there. I mean, he didn't even make the GFIs to make it slightly more difficult. That ball might as well be on the ground. And it isn't on the ground. Okay, so we base him up on this side. Can you base him up on the other side, though? Alright, so that guy's movement 5, so you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, can't do that, so it's got to be 1. So you can dodge to here, which is a 3+, and then a 3+. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he does have a scoring angle. I don't think there's any way for him to make it any easier, though. Fails the 3+, and then fails the 3+. Thick Skull saves him from a KO. Looking back at this, what if he had... Okay, this guy can get down here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Both these guys are basing him. No, it's still a red dice. And with the dice that he rolled, he still would have failed. So, yeah, at the end of the day, there was nothing he could do from that. He did have a decent scoring chance there. I mean, 3+, 3+, 2+, 2+. With a reroll, I mean, not great, but I'd say still more than 25% chance, so not awful, at least. But that is that. So, yeah, that was a game. It's pretty rare to see a game in which a dwarf team has that few armor breaks. Like, he didn't manage to knock you down very often. His dice were relatively atrocious for blocks. Like, he did have a lot of, but like a lot of his blocks were like push both down. But to be fair, you're actually one of the teams that dwarves have a lot of trouble with at first, just due to the fact that you have all the block and wrestle to negate his abilities, and you just flat out just broke him more than he. Like the fact that he had 0% casualty rolls is real bad. The one failed wake up, it's not terrible. I mean, that's not really undue odds. His injury rolls are pretty okay. And his armor is atrocious, considering the fact you didn't have Mighty Blow. Your armor is relatively on par with where you would expect it to be. And, I mean, your pickups are not great, but you didn't really fail any of the super key rolls. Your pass failed, but again, it was a vanity. It's not a huge deal. So yeah, basically, that just boiled down to the fact that he rolled really well on the one series of things where he just casually did a 5+ dodge first. So yeah, there wasn't anything you could do to stop that play because he got the push and then he rolled the dice he needed to roll. And unless, like I said, the only way you could have prevented it is had you moved your players sooner. So you could have done like the setup down there with the full elf screen, so 2 players deep. But other than that, it was a pretty good game. And yeah, definitely excited to see what you roll for your levels. Because I think a couple of your guys leveled, or maybe only one leveled. I'm actually not sure. But that will be it for this stream.